Good afternoon. Going to start off with apologies for the length of time between my videos of late. A little bit of ill health and medication problems, so apologies for that. Everyone's fine now, no problems. So I wanted to try and tie up this mixing series, and I'm going to kill some flies in the process. And kind of tie in everything. We're almost at the end of it. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about to finish things off. There is, if you've watched any of my other videos of late, you'll understand I'm getting into this parallel compression thing. So there's now the kind of final bits of parallel compression that I want to do in terms of all the music tracks, etc. Or should I say, all the tracks except the drums. So send effects, and every bus from every instrument goes into this sidechain compression channel, which then gets mixed in with everything. Then I wanted to talk to you about, as you can see, I've already done some, but I'm by no means finished with the automation in this song, and that is automation. This is what I used to forget about a lot. This is what sets a lot of the top mixers apart, is the time and effort they will spend at the end of a track automating, creating feeling, creating passion. You'll create a static mix, as I like to call it, and then what I want to then create is an animated mix. So you're injecting emotion into the tracks, you're creating feeling, bringing up little drum fills, bringing up bits of guitars, dropping things back to create movement. And I'll go through here a couple of little bits, but I'm not going to go into much detail on it because this is kind of like, this is your artistic section. This is where you get to put your take on a song, put in the emotions that you feel from the song, not what I feel or anyone else feels. This has got to be about what you feel. So I just want to lay it into your mind as an important thing to think about at the end. And I'll just show you a couple of little things I've done just to give you an idea. And that's that. And then obviously there's our master bus effects that we've got to just do a final check on, see what's going on. I'll explain to you what everything's doing. And that's it. We're pretty much done with this. I think the first thing I'll explain is this mix bus. Let me bring up the mixer. Probably easier to show you. I'll bring it up from here. Not the mix bus, sorry, the parallel compression. Now what I've done is I've created an extra bus here at the end before our submix. So every other bus track, so for example, except our drums are just going into their own drum bus and then going directly out to the submix. Everything else except the drums goes into this. So we've got the bass bus, a 12-string bus, acoustic bus, rhythm guitar bus, lead guitar bus, vocal bus, backing vocal bus, and also our send effects. So any effects or anything, they also go into this. So it's everything except the drums. Now that is then getting sent to the submix as normal, but I'm also sending it to this music New York compression track here. Okay. Now I have settled on my favorite C165A. Now what I recommend you do, there are things that the Mic DSP do a product where I think there's about 7 or 8 different compressors in there that you can flick between, so you can set the settings on one and flick between them all. I'm not sure about the Slate stuff, I haven't used it, but also T-Rax, I think you could set up a few different compressors and flick between them. Because the whole point of this bus is it doesn't matter what it sounds like on its own. It probably sounds horrible. I haven't even listened to it in solo. It's what it sounds like when you put it in with the rest of the track. Okay, it doesn't matter what it sounds like on your own. All you're doing is crushing these and creating a compression for all of this stuff that we haven't really compressed before. Okay, or very lightly compressed. Now this is where you get some heavy compression and it gets blended in with the rest of the song. Okay. So as I say, I've got the C165A on. I've got it compressing between about 5 and 10 dB normally, and then it will go up to about 10 and 15 dB in some louder sections. Now what I'll do is I shall play a little bit of the song. I'll drop it out and we'll play it, and I'll bring it in and hopefully you'll hear the difference. Now, once I bring that in, I may need to go back and readjust certain things. Like the guitars are possibly a little bit loud, but I've done some automation on the guitars, which I'll show you in a minute, which is possibly why they're a little bit loud. But you kind of get you can hear that the mid frequencies start to become a bit thicker. That's, you know, the center ground comes out a little bit more. I can just hear it just compresses and brings certain things out. So it just kind of adds that bit of extra compression that we need. I mean, I know we already lightly compressed the vocals, but we didn't actually do any compression on the guitars. But what we're trying to do is glue all these parts together. So all the vocals and the guitars and the acoustic guitars and everything, and the effects are getting kind of glued together to give us the effect. So that's that. I mean, I've gone over this in detail in other videos. If you want to check out my Sheps style compression videos, you'll see it there. So I'm trying to keep this one a little bit quick and just finish things up and explain the mixing process rather than the actual bits and pieces involved. So that's all I've done in terms of drums. We're already compressed. If you remember, we've got our kick and snare crush, and the rest of the drum kit is compressed in this drum bus New York compression here. So that the music New York compression gets straight out to the submix. So while we're at here at the submix, we might as well talk about the master. Well, this is my master bus effects, you like, in my submix here. So I've got my Brixton channel. Now, I know generally you want to keep this at 0, but I've allowed it to go over a little bit in places, possibly a little bit too much, because listening on headphones now I can hear it a little bit of breakup here and there. But you can get a nice kind of analogy effect out of the Brixton and the Satson if you just allow it to go a little bit into the red there. So that's that one. I've got the Puig Child. Now that's doing next to nothing. All I've done is balance the volumes, and I've turned the threshold up enough so that the needle flickers. That's all it's doing, is flickering. If I let you just have a look. That is there purely for the sound. I mean, it's modelled on a Puig Child with all the valves and transformers and etc. I think the UAD model is probably a little bit better, but I've put it there for sound, and I do like the sound it gives me. It just adds something to the signal. So then we've got my SDC. Now you've seen this before. I've got the optical, just probably a couple of dB of compression, and the discrete, or like this is like the SSL type compressor, the faster compressor on this one, is just giving me 3-4 dB of compression, and I'm just adding a couple of dB in on the discrete and 1 dB on the optical. I'll drop it out. Just helping to glue things together. I mean, it's not the only thing, it's not doing a wildly amazing magical thing there, but all these steps add together. Then I've got VEQ, Oh, I love this. I just use this to clean up the mids, really, and I mean it's very subtle what I'm doing. If you notice, these two, I never change. This just sits here like that, and it either works or it doesn't. If I need a little bit more high end, I'll just raise or lower this. In this case, I've dropped it back to what it would normally be. If I let you hear that. So it just cleans up the mids and just adds a little touch of high end air into the thing. And then I've got my favourite limiter, Pro L, which is doing very little at the moment. So I've got it kind of sat on the edge of where it's, you know, it's just about to start working. For the very reason that I don't want to overload it at the moment. I want to get the rest set up. And then once I'm ready to export, then I'll mess around with the limiter setting and try and get it as loud as I can without breaking it all up. So that's that covered very quickly. I mean, I've got other videos covering all of these things, so that's why I'm kind of skating over it, because I want to get to what I really want to put into your head, and that is automation. Now I've got one very simple piece of automation going on here in the acoustic guitars. I'm bringing them in the verses only. And then what I'm also doing is I'm dropping down, not dropping out, dropping back the volume of the electric guitars on each verse as well to allow the acoustic to come up. But one thing I tried to do, I've dropped this section is down by nearly 4.5 dB, okay? Then I've kicked it up here for a little fill on the guitar and then just pulled it back again, but this time only back to about 3.5 dB. And then for the second verse, I've only dropped it back by about just over 2.5 dB. So it's kind of gradually getting louder. And then what left the volumes, intro, bridge and chorus. Then the solo section, I've brought the rhythm guitars up a touch by 0.5 dB, as you can see there. Then once we get into the kind of final bridge, I've brought it up by about 0.75 dB, just to gradually increase the kind of tension in the song, bring up the volume, get the excitement kind of going towards the end. Next thing, the vocals I've already done. And what I've done is I've played the track and gone through. And as you can see, I'm kind of gradually bringing the volume up as we go. But again, I'm just emphasizing phrases. I'm dropping bits back that I don't want. I'm just emphasizing words, trying to get emotion going on in the vocal. And I'm picking up on the words and bringing up volumes where I want. And as you can see, I mean, I didn't do this deliberately, but the volume kind of gradually increases as that section of the song goes on. In fact, it's actually decreasing as things are going on there. But, you know, I've just tried to bring out some emotion. I mean, there's not much of we're only talking, what is it, 2.7 there, and at the lowest point, 0.86. So, you know, there's about 2.5 dB variation. So, I mean, it's kind of looks more than it actually is. And that's only on the lead vocal that I've done. I've still got the backing vocals that I would like to work on, etc. And you know, also the drums. I want to bring up some drum fills, create some nice touches. You know, when the drums come in that maybe just aren't very obvious, and just bring them out a little bit. You know, 1 or 2 dB. You're not talking about much. It doesn't need much at this stage. But it's just to create an animated mix that gives over the emotion of the song. Okay, so that's all I really want to say on this. I mean, I could babble on and on for hours, but you know, this part, the automation section of things this is your chance to fly. I mean, this is, you know, where you get artistic with the music in front of you. You know, the technical stuff is kind of done. It's your turn now to put your touch on it. So I just want to plant it in your head as something that is very important, and I'm going to stop babbling and call an end to this mix series. I mean, as always, like, subscribe. I've still got the track up on the Dropbox. If you want to download the track and mix it yourself, then please subscribe to the channel. These are the rules that were made by the songwriter. She didn't want me just putting a link out willy-nilly. So if you want access to it, subscribe to my channel, send me a message, and I'll send you the link. It's as simple as that, okay? So yeah, please, if you want to join in, I'll leave it up there for a while yet, and make it available. So anyway, I hope, just quickly, anyone that has mixed the track and they're posting it up, please send me a link, let me know, let me have a listen. Be cool to hear what other people are doing with it. And I hope you've enjoyed mixing it if you have done it. So we'll leave it at that, folks, and I'll see you in the next Reaper related video. Thanks guys, bye now.